So we will move into unit number 5. So the title is given here. It is called as clustering. Right? So first section we will be studying about cluster analysis, and this is a very important section. What are the different types of clustering techniques up to here? Right? This is the second section. So from here we can expect definitely one 8 marks will come definitely from this word section. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4 questions are there. Right? So then evaluation of clustering. So what do you mean by clustering? So listen very carefully here. Assume that I'll give you a real-time example of just in our real life we see uh, cats. Fine. Then I see leopards here. Fine. Leopards. Then I find tigers. Right? And then I find lions. These are all belong to a family called as cat family. Fine. Then I see dogs. Fine. And then I see wolves here. So wolves here. Then I see a fox here. Right. So these are all different set of dog family. So this is a cat family, and this is a dog family. So they are related to. There is some kind of similarity. So this is what as a humans we just there is a similarity in this cat family, and there is a similarity in this dog family. So we group this data which is similar. Listen very carefully here. We group this data according to the similarity, and that process is called as clustering. That process is called as what? Clustering. And second, very important is that first is similarity, and second one is dissimilarity. What even by dissimilarity? This two clusters are dissimilar. So that is the two important, very important words here. Leader, the process of grouping a set of physical abstract objects into classes of similar objects is called as clustering. And the next point is a cluster is a collection of objects. Look at the point here. Dissimilar to the objects to the other cluster. One cluster and the other cluster should be dissimilar. That is a very important point. So this is what we are trying to do in cluster and clustering and unit number 5. A big set of data is given, and we have to form clusters of data, and it comes under the family called as unsupervised learning. So this is the second section of unit number what? 5. So this is a definition for what clustering. So I just gave a real-time example. You will see how it works. How do we create a cluster, right? We have some very important things to understand here. How do we group, right? How do we group? See, one attribute value and the other attribute value will have a similarity. Will have a similarity. So that is a very important thing that we need to understand, and where this section is used. So it is based on data similarity. Very important point for you. That data are similar. Similar data are grouped together, and then we assign labels, and relatively to the small number of what groups. It's like in supervised learning, labels will be there, but here no labels will be there. Big data will be there, and from the big data you have to find out clusters of data with similarity, different clusters which are dissimilar. So this is a very important definition. It's a very important definition for you. We'll get down. What are all the applications of cluster analysis? It's a very important 8 mark question or 6 mark question. In what are all the fields it is applied? Normally, it is applied in a market research, image processing, data analysis, pattern recognition, and numerous applications. There are 14 different fields in which clustering analysis is what given. So that is a very important thing that you have to what understand. So clustering is in 14 different places that you just go through that, and clustering is an example of it is Group according to their similarity. Listen, it is grouped according to your similarity. And what for what also it is used? Listen very carefully here. This is a cat family, and this is a what? Dog family. And if I see a rat here, this is rat family. This is called as an outlier. It is completely uh, uh, out from the so any data which is completely out can also be found out by what? Clustering. It belongs to unsupervised learning, right? It does not have any predefined classes, so nothing will be there. You will do it and then label the classes. So it is just opposite to what? Supervised what? Learning. So this is what the clustering form observation by learning. And the next, what are all the properties of what clustering? That is also given in your book. First is called as scalability. Listen very carefully here. We are going to work with a large amount of data, a large sets of what? Data. Clustering should be able to handle that. When the data is large, it should be able to what? Handle that. Then in data, different types of data will be there. We'll see what are all the different types of data will be there. And discovery of clusters in arbitrary shape should be there. And then some minimal requirements of domain knowledge determine the what? Input what? Parameters. And since the data is very large and we have to deal with a lot of noisy data, because big data will be there and you have to put groups here, find out the groups clusters, a lot of noisy data will be there. You should be able to what? Handle it. And high dimensional data is there. In unit we studied about multidimensional data, right? Multidimensional data we studied. So it should be able to, clustering should be able to handle this kind of data, and constraint blend clustering and interoperability and usability. So these are the basics of clustering, which is given as our first thing, cluster analysis. Yeah, first section. What do you mean by cluster? Right? What do you mean by cluster? What do you mean by clustering? Grouping data which are similar, and one cluster is dissimilar from what? Other subjects, other clusters. And number two, it comes under unsupervised learning. No labels will be there. You just combine it with data similarity and then what? Assign labels.